Another thing that helps is to have everything ready when you're pulling this out. So we had a cherry picker, we had the straps, plus we had the manpower here. We had 2 people, plus a jack underneath. So getting everything out as one unit, if that's what you're gonna do, really helps with good communication and a couple people to do it. And just have all your, T's crossed and your I's dotted. Make sure everything is done the right way and you won't have any issues, knock on wood, hopefully. The Jeep's all cleaned up and prepared for its brand new heart transplant. This thing's gonna have a Hemi in it, sooner than you guys are gonna be able to imagine. I can't wait for that to happen. Let's get this thing pulled in and we're gonna start with this Hemi swap.
Grab a trim panel removal tool, please. Please, there you go.
Were you gonna get it until you said please? No.
Nope.
Where's your trim bit?
Screwdriver drawer. No.
You don't really have too many screwdrivers.
No, it's all the way to the right, remember?
You change your toolbox.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
It's that damn left brain neglect again, huh?
What'd you say?
That damn left brain neglect, huh?
Yeah, I only use my right half.
Oh, okay.
That's the video side of me.
Today's job is to get all the modifications done, all the vacuum lines, modify the bell housing, modify the engine, the harness, the intake, the oil pan, all the accessories, figure out the transmission lines, all that stuff, and try to get the thing ready to put it back in the Jeep.
Basically, I want to drill the transmission. There's an adapter plate that actually gets bolted on there. So we've got to drill a couple holes in the transmission, mount that all up. We got to get a couple things off of the engine too. The engine's going to be another project because we're not going to just put it in the way it sits. It's a 2018 engine, but it was in a scrapyard, so it's got a little bit of dirt and grime onto it. So we're going to get that completely cleaned up. We've got a lot of Mopar parts and accessories that need to be put on there. New intake manifold, paint it up a little bit, clean it up, and really dress that engine up. We can get the transmission drilled up the right way, and we can start working on that engine to get that completely gutted and cleaned up to our standards. We're going to do a lot of cleaning on everything just to make sure that it's right, done the right way, and it's a brand new vehicle, so we want to make sure that everything going into it is just as clean as the vehicle is. So we got to cut this bracket off here, this tiny little one?
Yeah, just a little bracket here because we have to move the power steering pump 1 inch forward.
1 inch?
1 inch.
Well, that's going to give it, I guess, or if you look at the picture, the alternator is going to kind of interfere with it. It's probably this plug here.
I think it's a plug or the cover, but you know what? Move it forward, give room for that big old Hemi. I had to move the power steering pump forward because of the alternator on the Hemi swap. Because it's on the passenger side, it gets in the way of the power steering pump. So Dakota Custom gives us this nice Welding bracket. You cut the factory brackets, move it forward 3 inches. I didn't have much concerns about moving it. I mean, it's part of the engine swap. You have to move things around. You have to figure it out.
They have the bracket too, so.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some welding, but.
Do we have to cut off the old bracket out? Really not.
No, just weld in place, be done.
We might have to move this a little bit here, but that'll move.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, let's cut that off. Brendan, before you keep going, do you think this is going to affect the warranty on the vehicle?
What warranty's left?
Oh God. I was a little bit nervous of welding this into place completely before we had the engine in because I didn't know what would happen when we got the engine into place. If we needed to move it forward or backwards, what needed to exactly happen. So what I did, just lined it up, ground down the pieces of bare metal where it needed to be welded on, and then Brendan just burdened it in. That bracket can stay?
From here to here.
Won't the radiator hit it though?
I don't think so. Well, dude, they're just saying to put it there, so I'm just going with it.
I'm not arguing with you. Trust me, I'm not.
So.
No, you know I'm not arguing with you. I'm saying,
dude, I don't care.
I can't read him for one moment it's you, the next moment is okay.
You gotta be like.
The next moment is I didn't tell you to move there. Well, I know you didn't tell me to move there. You want us to go outside the frame now? Hang on. It's got to go. I think the bracket has to go down first. Because look, it's hitting this right here.
Okay, I think we have to cut this bracket off here. Yeah, burn. And then right here. See right here? So, like right here.
Are you going to do some on the side there?
No, right here I'm talking about. Like this weld.
So Brendan's really good with a welder, but a good welder needs a good welder to use. So we were using one of our smaller welders. It's actually a little Lincoln electric welder, and it's just a flux core MIG. So he was having a little bit of issues there with it binding up in the tip there and clogging it up. However, once he got that to work, we burned it in fine, no issues whatsoever. I trust his skills, but like I said, a good welder needs a good welder. So we're outside today. It's 65 degrees in Harrisburg. Doesn't really happen in March too much. We got the Hemi outside. So we're gonna start kind of tearing into this and cleaning some things up, maybe do some painting.
Yeah.
But it's a good day to do it. It's nice outside.
What color did you pick?
Hemi orange.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's gonna look good.
For me, with the engine color, I personally love Hemi orange. It was a classic color, and it really stands out. Hey, I have a Hemi.
Wow, that was easier than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's a quick release.
That's a quick release in this?
Yeah.
Huh.
Push the tab.
Was
pop
this
right
piece
up.
of wood factory?
Yeah. Nature.
Okay, so is this where the horsepower goes in?
Horsepower goes in. Amazing comes out. Here you go. Coil pack bolts.
Give me a sec, dude.
One.
You're funny. You're funny. You can put them in bags too, you know.
Matt, you ready to see the inside of this?
I'm kind of scared, to be honest.
It is. Very nice. Very clean.
Cleaning the engine block, I would say, is pretty necessary when you put it in here. It's one of those things that really helps you get to know what your engine looks like before you put it in the vehicle. You're not gonna have the ability to see as many things as you can when it's outside on an engine stand. So I would highly recommend at least go over it, clean it up a little bit and make sure everything looks good on it. And you can even do that before you buy an engine. That'll let you know if there's any issues with it, any cracks, anything like that going on with it. As far as painting, that's not really necessary. It's just one of those things, you have it out, it's an extra $6 or $7 worth of paint and an hour of your time, and you can make it look nice. Once it's in the vehicle, you'll know that you painted it, and people that'll be able to look in and look really deep at it, be able to see that it's painted up. But it's just one of those personal preferences. Clean it up, get it painted. If you want it to look nice, if you're not into that, all that flashy stuff, leave it the way it is, drop it in your Jeep and go.
We're doing the Hemi swap. We're doing the Hemi swap. Yeah, that's my song.
Dude, people are gonna be bashing you forever for that.
Dude, I'm bashing him right now in my head. I'm thinking about
Look at that. It's like taping off the Hemi to get ready for prepping for paint really takes a lot of time. So I got a little bored, made up a really cool Hemi song. Matt loves it a lot.
He's done Beethoven a few times, which takes a little bit of time underneath. He taps on the exhaust to get the right notes. But yeah, he's a pretty clever guy when it comes to thinking up little tunes to make the day go by. I could have sworn I heard like Shania Twain. Like I feel like a... That's the song. Are you serious? Let's go, girls.
Well, you remove as much as possible, not to like mess with gaskets, but you try to remove as much as you can so you can get all the surface of your engine. And take the time to get some cleaners, clean the engine block very nicely, get all the rust off, all the grease, oil. Well, we're just gonna spray it down with brake clean and not worry about it.
You want to paint? You wanted to paint it though.
Yeah. I put the two bolts back in because the timing cover's not coming out.
I want to take the timing cover out.
Yeah, well, I don't have the tool to pull the balancer off.
I thought you were a mechanic.
Matt always judges my mechanical skills, but if you look at that dude, he's super short, so he can't reach anything, so I actually have to do all the work and actually the proper mechanic to do this job. I forget which one it is. Yeah, I know. That's the flammable stuff. No.
Chlorinated is probably worse. Yeah, chlorine is f***ing nasty. Chlorinated is a chemical process which adds a second ion into the initial mixture. So that's nitrogen sulfate calcide. So that adds an extra ion to that.
You forgot the reverse osmosis process.
Yeah, but that's only in the Brake Clean brand. They have a patent on the reverse osmosis on the negative ion removal of the nitric acid before they mix it with the sulfide. But did you see that? Well, they only deionize when the sulfide doesn't collaborate well with the potassium iodine. There's a bit of an argument between Patrick and I about the ionization of the negative particles of the paint molecules. And just by default, being a sulfur-based paint, you're not gonna have that ionization that Patrick says. He always says about it, when you mix the hydrochloride with the sulfate and the triphosphate, it doesn't mix the way he thinks it will. So I'd just like to say that was wrong. But when you mix that, you do get a diglyceride byproduct, and that clumps up the end of the paint when you go to spray it. So that's really what was going on.
Matt rambles a lot, but if you really listen to it, it sounds like gibberish, it might be gibberish, but it's actually very smart and works with this engine swap.
So yeah, he's wrong. Diglyceride is like a fat substance. So basically right now we're taping everything off. We're gonna paint the block Hemi orange. Picked up some Duplicolor Hemi orange paint, actually from the local auto parts store. Figure we might as well refresh this thing. We're putting a lot of new parts on it. Might as well clean it up. How many quarts of oil does that take?
Probably 6.
2018 Dodge Ram 1500 oil and filter. Well, no, actually it came with a filter.
Okay.
What else? You got the hose, got that.
Coolant for JL.
Is it JL coolant? Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
Coolant.
pink. Pink coolant. There's still a lot to do before we can put this engine in the JL. What we have to do is get all the front accessories on. We still have to finish mounting the adapter, mounting the transmission to the Hemi, figure out where those little locations, maybe we have to modify anything a little more. But then we gotta figure out the wiring, modify the power steering hoses, lines, and figure out what we need to do to move before we can put the Hemi back in the JL.
So an important step to be able to mate up the engine with our factory transmission, they actually include this bracket here. Now this nice fancy bracket is only to drill one hole.
Drill one hole, yep.
So that's gonna be for an alignment pin, right?
Yeah, it's for this little alignment pin here on the adapter, so we can mount this adapter onto our Hemi.
So basically this adapter will allow us to mount the Hemi engine right up to the transmission. It's pretty cool though, for one hole they do give us this big bracket here to make sure we don't mess it up.
Yeah,
it's
a lot of work to do. I mean, it could be tricky.
But they do include this as well as a drill bit too, so.
Correct. But then we also, once we get the thing mounted, we do have to modify the inside of the bell housing.
Just a little bit, right?
Just a little bit for the Hemi starter now.
The starter is a little different. It's bigger because
Correct.
obviously, I think the tooth count is different on the flex plate. Maybe? I don't know. We looked at it a little bit. Yeah, because, well, no, we took off the flex plate and so they lined up.
Yes.
They were the same, but that was a Hemi flex plate.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're pretty much the same, but the starter's a little bit different. So now we just have to notch that out a little bit, drill that hole, and then we should be able to bolt this on. Today we actually went and drilled our transmission. I was a little bit leery of doing that. However, the kit does come with a nice plate that actually bolts onto the bell housing and shows you exactly where to drill. It's actually slotted too, and they include the drill bit. So
they get this nice taper hole, so when you slide your drill bit in, it can only go straight and can't wobble, can't move around. Drill it in, go. And there we go.
that was quick.
Heck yeah, man. Gotta love good quality drill bits.
That's
good
a
quality
nice
jig.
bit. That was probably one of the nicest bits. Look at the shavings, how quickly that did that. What was it, 10 seconds?
10 seconds. But you see how I had to keep pulling in and out because it would get jammed up with aluminum. So you pull it out and clean up all the flutes. Push back in, keep going.
That's a good bit. See if it fits.
So you see that's our new hole that's drilled. So we line it up with that little piece right there. Dude.
A little bit lower.
Boom.
Nice snug fit too.
Yeah, and look at all the bolt holes line up. So for the part of the Hemi swap, we have to use a Hemi starter. We have to mount it here. It looks like we have to modify the boss just a little bit for the snout of the starter. Not a big deal, just some cutting. Put it back in.
A little bit of cutting, yeah.
A little bit. Come on now. Matt, don't be scared. Don't be scared, Matt.
Jeebus. That's not a little bit, that's a lot of bit.
Just a little bit. Just a teeny weeny yellow bit of aluminum.
So Matt, you don't seem the happiest person to have to take that much off. Is it just because it's a pain in the butt, or you're worried it's not going to work right?
It'll work, it's just, yeah, it's a lot.
Just a lot.
It's not, I'm not like worried about what it'll turn out to because I know we can do it the right way. It's just getting it done. Yeah, because we're gonna have to mess with a couple things and try and figure out the right tool for the job. That's always the funnest part.
Do you have to watch out so the shards don't get inside the things?
Not really. We're gonna vacuum it all out and clean it out too. That's just a lot, man.
Let's take the bell housing off.
What tool do you? What do you even?
We're gonna use a Sawzall.
Brendan did a good job of drilling that hole out. The drill bit that they sent was really nice too. The thing drilled right through, and then after that, we actually had to notch it out for the starter. Once again, Brendan did that, killed it. We used a Sawzall and a die grinder to knock that down where the new Hemi starter actually fits into the bell housing. It's bigger and in a different location than the JL starter. I was nervous, I gotta be honest, I was nervous to do that.
Man, I cut the JL bell housing.
I think we're gonna have to cut it a little bit more. I didn't know how it would turn out, but after marking it with all the adapters on, it actually turned out pretty easy. I was kind of surprised that it only took about 15 minutes, and just a simple Sawzall and a die grinder completely knocked it out, bolted it on and off just to test fit it. Push to make sure the plate's all the way down.
Yeah. Yeah, I got this 2 bolts. Oh yeah, we got to drill out the starter too. We got to drill the starter out.
Why?
So the starter gets mounted to these, right? Look at the starter.
What about it?
The threads. The threads, man, threads!
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
We have to drill these holes out
Why?
because sometimes the bolt catches on, so you have to drill it out.
You just slid it in.
I know.
That's the bolt you use.
I know.
So why do you need to drill it out?
But that's what they said, to rotate it.
Brendan, you're just trying to make sure everything's lining up and feeling good.
I'm just trying to confirm everything's good, then we can move on to the next thing.
That's kind of a lot of the behind the scenes stuff too, is just on, off, on, off, on, off.
You don't want to cut too much, you just take your time, grind it down.
Well, you did that. You did a good job.
Thank you. So Matt, what do you think? We get this all done, we go camping with this?
You know I have a camping trailer. It's a pretty nice one. We did the whole video on it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And I have the awning room too from ARB, so we can
So I guess
sleep up in the roof. We can sleep up top on the rooftop tent and then...
What, together?
So we're gonna sleep in the tent together? I mean, I don't care.
Thank you. I was just going to explain that you could sleep downstairs in the awning room. And I will take the upstairs 1-bedroom suite.
Oh, you'll take the suite and I get the dirt.
Yep.
Then we moved on to doing motor mounts. We had to figure those out. I had to actually run my motor mount a certain place because I had to put the dipstick behind the motor mount that all up. Working 9 to 5. Here you go, buddy.
Wow. Hang on. What do these want to get torqued to? I don't want to not forget. I don't want to forget to...
Tight.
Huh?
Tight. There's no torque spray.
Really?
Really?
No, like, I don't know if you're joking or not.
No,
so.
it's like, you know how tight they should be. Why? I have never actually used one of those ever in my life.
I'm just saying, for me, it makes me feel better. If it doesn't matter to you, it's okay. I'm just saying for me. What's leaking? Pan.
Cool.
Pan.
Just a little delay there.
So where did these go?
They're in that bag. What?
Do we get new... You don't even know what I'm going to say and you're
I
already
thought you were going to give
defending
me shit about
I
something.
said, do we get new hardware? We reusing
No.
this?
Yeah, we're good.
He immediately thinks I'm about to give him shit. I was just like, do we?
Well, you've been giving
What?
You've been giving me shit about this whole engine build. Matt, can we do an LS? No, Brendan, we're doing a Hemi. Matt, can we do this? No, Brendan, we can't do that. Matt, can we do this? No, Brendan. That's a crazy idea.
You said, can we put a slice of pizza down the one intake manifold?
Who doesn't like a slice of pizza in their intake?
The Hemi doesn't. We also got the motor mounts installed as well as the exhaust manifolds and trimmed up the evap lines to work with our Hemi engine. Now this was a lot of work and it was, as I mentioned, some nitty-gritty work that we had to do, basically just to go through and make everything work with our Hemi engine. There's a lot of modifications that needed to be done to the evap lines. They were super simple, simply used a razor blade, cut off the vacuum fit lines, and then reused the lines that Dakota Customs included. So we just got a lot of that knocked out today. We put the exhaust manifolds on too. They were painted black. We figured to put a nice header paint on there. That way it'll look clean for a long time. Plus it just blends in well with the rest of the engine. Cleaned it up, but that was an extra thing. Got on some new exhaust manifold gaskets too, so pretty cool there. Just to upgrade it, as well as a brand new oil pan underneath. So we got an aluminum oil pan, new pickup tube, and a bunch of other new parts that went underneath. I'm super excited for everything that's new going onto this build. This Hemi is going to be absolutely killer by the time it's done, with a lot of brand new parts and just a lot of time going into just everything about this swap. Well, I can call them at noon then when they're open, but I'm just saying it's not gonna work. Because this is gonna way interfere with this. I don't care what kind of adapter brackets we make. Because if we push this throttle body out too far, then that's gonna start
Interfering with the intake tube in the radiator.